never stab the devil in the back. Hey everyone, Lucimus Prime here. So it is time for another movie review video today, and in today's video it's going to be a review for what is the second installment of my favourite action thriller franchise of all time, and this is of course John Wick, and that film of course is none other than 2017's John Wick Chapter 2, directed once again by Chad Stahelski and written by Derek Kolstad. So, how was this film made then? So, following the box office success of the previous movie, John Wick, Chad Stahelski and the film's uncredited co-director David Leitch said a sequel film began development in February 2015. And later that month, John Feltheimer confirmed plans for additional John Wick properties to create a media franchise, and announced the return of Kolstad as the screenwriter for the sequel. Filming began in October 2015 and lasted until early that following year, with filming taking place in Montreal, New Jersey, New York City, and Rome. And the film had its premiere at the ArcLight Hollywood in Los Angeles on January 30th, 2017, and was released in the United States on February 10th by Lionsgate. The film received generally positive reviews from critics, with praise for the action sequences, direction, editing, visual style, and the performances of the cast, particularly that of Keanu Reeves, who returned as the main character John Wick himself. The film grossed $174.3 million worldwide, and becoming the then highest grossing film in the franchise at the time. When it comes to my reaction to this film then, so when this film of course first came out in the cinemas, I unfortunately hadn't got a chance to see it then, because back then I was busy doing exams for school, so because I was so busy with college, I didn't have time to see this sequel, sadly. But when it comes to watching it when it came to television, it thankfully came onto Amazon Prime back in early 2021 for me, so I gave it a watch so I could catch up on the franchise finally when I had a chance to, and I absolutely loved this sequel. I think it was definitely really amazing. Now, do I think it was better than the first movie? Well, not in my opinion. I just think it's slightly weaker, but I still think it's an awesome sequel, and I definitely really love it. And I of course have rewatched it many times, and I of course have it on Blu-ray here as a Blu-ray Steelbook, and I definitely really love it. It's a great film. It might probably be my least favourite in the franchise, but I still think it's a really great sequel and absolutely awesome, because personally I think none of the films that I've seen for John Wick suck. I think all of them are great films. So what is the film about then? So in the film, the retired hitman John Wick, played once again by my favourite actor Keanu Reeves, is forced back into his old life to fill a blood oath to the crime lord Santino D'Antonio, who is played by Riccardo Scamarcio. So when it comes to what I think is great about this sequel then, so just like the first film, I think it has a really great cast of actors who all did a really great job in this movie when it comes to the main cast, that is. So for example, Keanu Reeves returns as John Wick, and that always will be my all-time favourite role of his, and I think he once again gave an absolutely phenomenal performance as John Wick in this movie, and just definitely to me still his best performance yet, in my opinion, ever. I think he did an absolutely phenomenal job returning in this film, and I've got to give lots and lots of props to him for his dedication to this role, because in this film he actually does 95% of the stunts that you see John Wick do in the movie. The only ones he doesn't do are the ones where he gets run over by a car and when he falls downstairs in his fight scene with the character Cassian. So I definitely really think that Keanu Reeves was so dedicated to his role, and you can definitely tell because of how much effort he put into the character when it comes to a stunt work, that is, and giving an absolutely amazing performance in this film and the other films of the franchise. And also when it comes to the rest of the cast as well, I definitely really love the addition when it comes to the film's villain of Riccardo Scamarcio as the character Santino D'Antonio, a character who has history with John as an Italian crime boss who forces him to perform an assassination, of course, which is his sister, so he can, of course, take a seat at a high table. So I really love how this sequel will introduce a new villain and also added more to the lore of the franchise when it comes to the criminal underworld. I think they did a really great job of it, in my opinion. And I think Riccardo Scamarcio did a really great job playing in Santino in this. I made him a very compelling antagonist. And he, of course, makes John have no choice but to work for him because he destroys his home in retaliation. So that was definitely, of course, a pretty pretty, good way to show how much of a good villain he is, really, by destroying John's home. And also, as well, when it comes to other introductions in this, I definitely really love the addition, as well, of Common as the character called Cassian, who is the bodyguard of Gianna, who is, of course, Santino's sister, who John assassinates to complete his oath. I think Common did a really good job playing Cassian. I might probably say it's my favourite role of his. And Common is both a good rapper and a good actor, in my opinion. And I think he did a really good job playing Cassian in this. Did a really good job. And you can tell that he has history with John as well because of their interaction, of course, at the concert. It's clear they have history with each other. And we get really good fights in between them. And I think Common did a really great job playing Cassian with what he was given, in my opinion. And he had really good acting as well, especially when it seems he's talking to John as well, such as in the bar, for example. And I also saw definitely really love the addition as well of Franco Nero as Julius, who is, of course, the owner of the Continental Hotel in Rome. Franco Nero's a great actor, and Julius is definitely one of my favourite roles of his. And I especially love his scenes interacting with John. And I also saw definitely really love the addition of the legendary Lawrence Fishburne as the crime lord in New York, known as the Bowery King. The Bowery King is probably my second favourite role of Lawrence Fishburne behind Morpheus in the Matrix trilogy. And I think he did a really good job playing the Bowery King in this. Definitely a very mysterious character who, of course, looks after birds and is of course, a good ally to John, I must say, too, because he gives him a gun to kill Santino with, which was pretty cool. So, yeah, Lawrence Fishburne was definitely a great addition to this. And as a fun fact, this is also, as well, his first collaboration with Keanu Reeves since the Matrix trilogy, which is pretty cool. And it's really cool that he came back to work with him on this. It's like Neo and Morpheus reunited, which is pretty cool. And when it comes to characters who return from the first movie as well, I love the return of Ian McShane as Winston, who is, of course, the owner of a New York Continental Hotel. And Ian McShane is a great actor, and Winston is my favourite role of his. I think he was really great in this once again. And I love how, of course, he played a role in which he, of course, explains to John about, of course, the blood oath that he swore to on his marker. So I love how he did that role. And also, the returning as well is also my second favourite character in the franchise after John himself, of course, which is Sharon, played by the absolute legend Lance Reddick, rest in peace, who we lost way too soon. Sharon will always be my favourite role of his, and I loved his scenes in this film, especially, of course, how he shows loyalty to John by saying he'll look after his dog for him. That was definitely really cool of Sharon to do that. And yeah, Sharon is just such an awesome character, and rest in peace to Lance Reddick. And when it comes as well to other characters who returned from the first movie, for those of you, of course, who hate the actor John Leguizamo, I certainly do hate him as well. His character Aurelio does appear in this film, and sadly he appears in a few more scenes than he had in the first film, because he appears at the beginning of the film saying to John that he'll fix his car for him, and it'll take him a long time to do. But then, unfortunately, he appears afterwards where he's receiving a message on his phone about John's bounties. So, but that's, of course, all you get of him, thankfully, because he's not even in the third and fourth films, and you know what, good riddance. So, yeah, I can definitely, of course, see why people would hate the addition of John Leguizamo on this, because I definitely do hate him as a person. But for what it's worth, though, Aurelio is slightly more likeable than John Leguizamo is because he's loyal to John, thankfully. But I wish that in this film he just appeared in like one scene alone and just didn't show up again. But sadly, he appeared in those scenes to see him a text message, sadly, which really sucked. And when it comes to other new characters as well, I definitely really love the addition as well of Peter Serafinowicz as the character called the Sommelier, who works at a Continental Hotel in Rome as a weapons supplier. I thought he was actually a very cool addition, and definitely a very good addition to the lore for the franchise, really. So, I think it was really well done. And aside from a great cast of actors, another thing about this film which I think is also amazing is also, for me, the action scenes. Like, this film, just like the first movie, is full of tons of really awesome action scenes. And the film even as well starts with an action scene where John's recovering his stolen car, which was really cool. And it's also as well connects to the first film because he's stealing it from the brother of Viggo Tarso, which is his brother Abraham, played by Peter Stormare, which was pretty cool. Yeah, Peter Stormare is a great actor, and him appearing in the start of the film was really cool. And I love how the film begins with an action scene, which is just so awesome. And also, so the fight scene of a concert after John, of course, kills Gianna was also, in my opinion, really cool as well. And also the fight across Rome as well. And also as well, I definitely as well really love the scene where John returns to New York and he's fighting the assassins because there's a bounty on his head which is $7 million for killing Gianna because Santino opens it on John. So that was definitely really cool. Or how it shows that Santino can double cross him. And also as well, when it comes to other fight scenes, I think as well, the fight between John and Cassian on the subway was also, in my opinion, very well done as well. And also their fighting run too was also brilliant too as well. And also as well, the fight scene in the Gala Museum, in my opinion, was also brilliant too as well. Especially in the Hall of Mirrors. That, in my opinion, was a lot of fun to watch. And just so fantastically paced as well. Because this one was actually longer than the first movie, because this one was 122 minutes. And in my opinion, it's paced really well because of these fight scenes. It doesn't feel boring or anything like that. In my opinion, the fight scenes make this film such an absolute fun blast to watch. And I also as well definitely really love as well the music in this, composed by Tyler Bates and George A. Richard. I especially as well love the soundtrack that plays in the concert fights, which is called John Wick Mode by La Castlevania. That's just, in my opinion, an awesome theme song to listen to. Like, really well composed by La Castlevania, the DJ, who actually has a cameo appearance as a DJ in the concert, which is really awesome. Definitely really love that. And also as well, I also as well definitely love how this film went a bit darker than the first film as well, which was really cool. Because this one, of course, deals with themes of things like honor, duty, destiny, and death. I definitely really love that. And also as well, I definitely as well, I really loved as well how the film also has a pretty good twist in which it, of course, sets up more to come, but in a pretty dark way, because it's already been established before in the first film that one of the rules of the underworld or in this franchise is no killing on Continental Hotel grounds. And unfortunately, in this film, John breaks that rule by killing Santino at the New York Continental. And as a result of this, he becomes excommunicado, meaning that all of his services to the underworld, or in the Continentals, are now closed. And as a result, many criminal organisations which are part of the underworld also honour the excommunicado too, as well. And in addition to that as well, of course, John is in danger because he's already got the bounty on his head for killing Gianna. So I think this film has a really exciting cliffhanger, because at the end of the film, after John takes his dog home to the ruins of his home, Sharon picks him up and takes him to Central Park where he meets Winston. And Winston reveals to him that the contract on John's been doubled and offered globally, and he's now got to declare John excommunicado as a result. But Winston, however, reveals that John is going to be only announced excommunicado an hour later. So that gives him a head start, and then he gives him a marker for future use. And what I love about that scene is that John is not afraid of the danger that he's going to be in an hour, because he tells Winston that he will kill whoever comes for him. And that is just really awesome, how he warns Winston that he'll kill everyone. And Winston, of course, knows he'll do it, of course. And then, as John leaves with his dog, Winston makes a call. And then, the contract, of course, then spreads across. And after that, phones begin to ring all around John. And then he begins to run. And right there, that was definitely a really awesome cliffhanger right there, which was setting up the third movie, which I'm definitely going to be reviewing next week, and I'm very excited to rewatch. So that was definitely, in my opinion, a brilliantly done cliffhanger, and was definitely done so well in this film. So I love how the stakes got higher because of that, really, and that was definitely, in my opinion, brilliant. So I think this film is just absolutely fantastic, a really great sequel. But when it comes to bad qualities, I've already mentioned, of course, the edition of John Leguizamo, who I despise. But another bad quality to also have is, I personally did not like the addition of Ruby Rose in this as of course Santino's bodyguard Ares, who's mute, because she's an actress whom I'm not a fan of at all, and in my opinion she can't act whatsoever. She has no acting experience at all, because a lot of the roles I've seen of her are so bland in my opinion. But this is the only role I can tolerate her in, because she frankly says nothing, which is very relieving for me. That's what I'll say. But even so, I'm just not a fan of her at all as an actress. And while I did love the fight scene between John and Cassian on the subway, My bad quality about that fight scene is that they never confirmed the actual fate of Cassian following it, because he gets stabbed, of course, by Jon, and Jon tells him not to pull the knife out of him because it would kill him, and then he leaves Cassian on the train behind as it goes away. So, and we never saw Cassian again after that, sadly, so I kind of feel that was a bit anticlimactic when it comes to giving Cassian closure. I was hoping he'd appear maybe again, maybe going to help Jon or something, maybe having a change of heart, or maybe returning in the sequels, but sadly we never saw him again, which is a massive shame. And when it comes as well, of course, to the Bowery King, while I loved him in this film, I didn't really like how he didn't make his appearance until towards the end of the film. I was hoping he'd appear more, but sadly not. But I still think Lawrence Fishburne was awesome as him, and thankfully he had more screen time in the next films, thankfully, which was good. But I wish he had more to do in this than he did, really. But he was good when he was given, though, in my opinion. But nonetheless, this film is still absolutely awesome, and if I was to give it a score out of 10, then to this day, because I love this sequel, I don't think it's a bad film at all, just the weakest in my opinion of the franchise, I'd give it a very solid score of 9 out of 10, because I think it's just so awesome in my opinion, and I definitely can't wait to review the next movie. Very excited. So, anyway, guys, this is me doing my review for John Wick Chapter 2. So, you know the drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to tell me in the comments what you guys think of John Wick Chapter 2. Have you seen it? Let me comment below what you think. Also, be sure to join the team by pressing subscribe and please come in the future. And be seeing you.